coming out of college and going into the WNBA, we as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were.
It would be an understatement to say that Caitlin Clark's Rookie of the Year award was announced during practice in the middle of a playoff game with no fanfare, balloons, press conference, or celebration. Just a routine, almost dismissive notification. It was as if the league wanted to minimize her accomplishments and take away the excitement that should have surrounded such a monumental moment. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 85% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already?
Great.
Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video.
I watched pretty much every single one of Caitlin's games early on because I am a fan. I do like good basketball. And of course, I wanted to see how she would do.
I watched Caitlin Clark from the start as a fan of the game, and I knew she had something special. Her talent was undeniable, her scoring ability was unmatched, and her confident, unapologetic, and fierce demeanor on and off the court was unlike anything we'd seen in the WNBA in years. This is because Caitlin Clark wasn't just good, she was too good, and she was threatening to overshadow everything the WNBA had carefully built.
And it actually, we talked about this before, like the fan that went hard at Caitlin at the Connecticut Sun game in game one.
This wasn't just another player. Caitlin Clark was shifting the narrative of women's basketball and attracting attention from all quarters of the sports world. However, what transpired next was nothing short of a scandal when one of the most well-known voices in women's basketball, subbed, opened up on her podcast. In what appeared to be a lighthearted discussion about basketball culture, Bird revealed the WNBA's darkest secret, one that could rock the league's foundation. It wasn't just about Caitlin Clark's talent. It turned out that the league's leadership had devised a scheme to put her in her place.
Where there was an interaction where the fan almost got ejected. It's like, none of this is okay. And we never accept it. We never accept this.
Yes, you heard that right. The league, desperate to maintain its carefully curated narrative of collective growth, felt threatened by Clark's explosive rise, and rather than celebrate her, they attempted to suppress her. The technical fouls, the racial undertones in the media, the blatant targeting of Clark's every move. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a deliberate strategy, a premeditated effort to break her down and keep her from stealing the spotlight. But why would they do this? Why would the WNBA's brass? Why is it okay? And Arlie, why is it welcome to Maine, including Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, target one of the league's brightest stars? Because Caitlin Clark was doing something the WNBA couldn't control. She was taking the league mainstream. She was attracting fans from all over the country, driving up TV ratings and increasing ticket sales. In short, Caitlin Clark was the WNBA's golden ticket to relevance, and they couldn't handle it. It wasn't just the cold reception of her Rookie of the Year award that was troubling. It was the way she was being treated on the court.
Why is it okay in Arlie? Why is it, welcome to me?
Caitlin Clark, a player who had done more for the WNBA than any rookie in recent memory, was subjected to unfair officiating. Recall that she was given a technical foul for lightly hitting the backboard in frustration after missing a shot. The referee described this as disrespectful to the game, but WNBA legends like Diana Taurasi, who have committed far more egregious offenses on the court, rarely receive such treatment. This wasn't just bad officiating. The league didn't stand up for their rising star.
This wasn't a surprise. And not just the comments that the
WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert has long been praised for her support of diversity and inclusivity, but her words and deeds reveal otherwise. In an interview, she casually hinted that two players who had garnered national attention, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, might form the league's next major rivalry.
A few weeks ago, where she basically implied that the racial tension is good for business and invoking magic and Bird.
In a startling turn of events, Sue Bird, one of the WNBA's most esteemed veterans, made remarks on her podcast that seemed to subtly disparage Caitlin Clark's amazing rookie season. Bird, who has built her legendary career on being a team player, talked about the collective effort that the WNBA's success hinges on. On the surface, these remarks seemed harmless, but a closer look revealed a troubling undertone.
Television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And
Caitlin Clark's rookie season was nothing short of extraordinary, as she not only made waves on the court, but also brought a level of excitement and attention to the league that had previously been absent. Clark's Bird statement, in particular, could have easily been interpreted as an attempt to embrace the team-oriented culture of the league, but many fans and analysts took it as a deliberate attempt to downplay the significance of Clark's record-breaking achievements.
in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped the bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximum.
She broke records, lit up the scoreboard, and won over fans everywhere. So why should such a remarkable performance be minimized in favor of a more expansive, less thrilling narrative of collective success? Bird's remarks made it very evident why celebrate one player when you can promote the narrative of collective growth. While encouraging teamwork and unity is important in any league, it becomes problematic when it stifles the recognition of a player who has unquestionably increased the WNBA's popularity.
It's not good for business. It's never good for business. And sort of sidestep the question about racism. And
Bird's remarks only served to reinforce the idea that WNBA leadership, including her own, was more concerned with controlling the narrative. Without Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise, the league would not be experiencing the heightened interest it currently enjoys. Her rookie explosive style of play and larger-than-life persona brought in new fans, generated buzz on social media, and turned the spotlight on a league that had long been overshadowed by its male counterparts.
Misogyny and hate that the players are receiving online, basically saying like, don't go on social media, or, it's sort of not.
Instead of recognizing Clark's efforts, the league seems determined to keep her spotlight lowered rather than truly celebrate its stars.
They're humans, looking at technology, basketball's a little.
The WNBA seemed more interested in maintaining the status quo and downplaying the significance of Clark's rise than in capitalizing on the incredible energy and excitement she brought to the game. This became even more evident when considering how Clark was treated by the league during her breakthrough season. Rather than putting her front and center as the league's face, they seemed almost reluctant to embrace her success.
More complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions.
Bird's remarks served as a reminder that the NBA was more concerned with maintaining the dominance of the old guard than with honoring the players who were advancing the sport. Now, let's take a step back and consider the irony of the league's reaction to Caitlin Clark's ascent. The NBA presents itself as a forward-thinking organization.
Technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard and he told me it was disrespectful to the game.
One that promotes diversity, inclusion, and empowerment. The WNBA has established itself as a welcoming environment for women's sports and a champion for athletes from all backgrounds, but the way Caitlin Clark has been treated, particularly in light of Bird's remarks, raises concerns about how far that inclusivity actually goes rather than creating an atmosphere that honors young talent like Clark.
College and going into the WNBA, we as WNBA players were having basketball conversations, and everybody just took it to another place where we were attacking them.
It is perplexing why the WNBA, which sorely needs new talent and excitement to flourish, would go out of its way to repress a player who is taking the league to new heights when it seemed more interested in preserving control over the narrative and safeguarding its current structure. Caitlin Clark was more than just a breath of fresh air. She was the wind that could propel the WNBA into a new era of relevance and popularity. However, despite all of her achievements, the league failed to fully embrace her rise. Even though it was obvious that her success was exactly what the WNBA needed, it was as if they were attempting to control her.
Thing I want to reset, that we want to reset. And it's the language being used around fans. Mm-hmm. Fever fans, Caitlin fans.
In addition to stifling her potential, the league was unable to fully capitalize on the surge of enthusiasm she created since it appeared as though her rapid ascent posed a challenge to the status quo.
New fans. That actually has to go. That has to go. I understand why at times it's been used. It's kind of just when you're in an interview and you get asked a question.
To make matters worse, the WNBA under Cathy Engelbert's leadership chose to use the rivalry between the two players as a marketing tool by framing their interactions as the next great rivalry in women's sports. This only served to exacerbate already existing tensions and fuel animosity between two of the game's brightest stars. Clark and her peer Angel Ree both became the targets of racist and sexist attacks both online and at games.
And it's kind of easy to go, oh, the FIFA fan base.
Yeah, what do you mean by
fans.
that? That has to go.
Oh, these new fans. It has to go because it's not the FIFA fans. It's not.
The WNBA seems more concerned in sensationalizing issues for the purpose of headlines than in creating a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere. As a result, they forgot that the most fundamental rule of sports is about the players.
There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little that Bird Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rival.
The WNBA alienated its fan base and undermined the very essence of what the league should stand for by letting marketing gimmicks shape the narrative instead of focusing on the players who are the league's heartbeat. Without them, there would be no league, no audience, and no future. Caitlin Clark and the WNBA's future.
Black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't.
Caitlin Clark is the future of women's basketball, but the WNBA has failed to fully embrace her rise and capitalize on the excitement she brings instead of promoting her as the league's face. As she continues to break records and captivate audiences with her electrifying play, the league faces a critical juncture.
It's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players, much more so than they were 5 years.
Caitlin Clark is the future of women's basketball, whether the league likes it or not. If the WNBA continues to suppress its brightest stars in favor of a narrative of collective growth. However, the league seems reluctant to acknowledge that the question now is whether the league will choose to embrace the future and allow Caitlin Clark to continue shining, or will they let jealousy and fear cloud their judgment and drag the league back into the shadows?
The WNBA in the league office and Kathy's role specifically is basically to protect and shepherd.
The WNBA's leadership must accept that its players, who possess the talent, charisma, and motivation to take the sport to new heights, hold the key to its future. If the league doesn't celebrate and promote its stars, it will ultimately be doing itself a disservice, stunting its growth and alienating the next generation of fans who are searching for the next big thing in sports. Otherwise, it runs the risk of losing the momentum that players like Caitlin Clark bring.
From a business perspective, from a player welfare perspective, from a health and safety perspective, and from a growth and investment perspective.
Continuing to impress and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple of years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant.
Caitlin Clark has already demonstrated that she is more than capable of carrying the weight of the WNBA on her shoulders. The real question at hand is whether the league will permit her to do so, or if they will continue to oppose her ascent. Regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain. Caitlin Clark is a formidable force, and the WNBA would be wise to acknowledge that.